Well, I'm changing things up. It is the picks video, but I'm doing it a lot different than I used to. Man, when I was younger and sprier, I've always been good with numbers. I used to be able to make my own lines. And I would make my line and do my prediction off my line before I looked at Vegas and what their lines are. I just can't do that anymore. I'm getting busier as I get older and not in tune as much as I used to be. But so I'm going to take a different approach here. I'm going to look at Vegas's lines first. I'm going to tell you what they are, and I'm going to give you my picks off of that going forward. Hopefully it'll be more interesting and more accurate because I've done 2 weeks and I'm down like 10 games or something against the spread. Yeah, it's not good. Straight up is really good as always. Just the lines. I'm not intact with that anymore. But hopefully I am this week and this will be different. All right, so here we go. I have 14 games that I'm going to pick for you. They're all the ranked opponents, ranked teams, and who they play. Them are the games I'm going to do this week. That's another change. I always went deeper than that. Not anymore. Ranked opponents, and Friday games are still going to be out, Thursday games. So there is a ranked team that plays Friday, but that's not on these predictions. All right, here we go. The brand new picks at noon. On Saturday, I have 4 games for you. Wisconsin is at Michigan, and Michigan is favored by 16.5 points. I have a Michigan versus Wisconsin preview and prediction video that you can go watch. I'll put it in the card somewhere. I'm a Michigan fan, so I do a preview for every one of Michigan football's games that you can check out. So I'll just move on and say that Michigan's going to win this game 31-13, and I do not. One thing that is going to remain consistent is I do not bet Michigan games because anything can happen. Everyone is out to get us. Maybe we beat everyone else and beat the refs and just dominate. It's just hard for me, and as a Michigan fan, I'm too close, too biased. Unless it's like an egregious line where I think Michigan is going to destroy somebody and it's too low, or where I think it's going to be a tight game and it's way too high. But I'm staying away from this Michigan game. All right, moving on. Kentucky is playing at Georgia at noon. By the way, Michigan is number 20 this week. Georgia is number 12. Kentucky's 2-2, nowhere near being ranked. Georgia is favored by 20.5 points. Georgia will come out playing great defense in this game from the get-go, and I think leading to some offensive production as well for Kirby Smart and company versus Kentucky. I have Georgia winning this game 38-10. That's a 28-point win. That is better than 20.5. I am taking Georgia to cover. All right. Iowa State is number 14, and they are on the road at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by 1.5 points. I don't know how Cincinnati is favored by 1.5 points, except for just that they're at home and Vegas thinks it's going to be a really close game. But Iowa State is going to win this game outright. Give me Iowa State outright because they're going to win 24-20 in Cincinnati. All right, the last noon game. Number 22, Illinois is at Purdue. And Illinois, sorry. There's a kitten climbing my chair. I have 5 of these. If you want one, let me know. But look at them. They're so cute. I'm just trying to climb my chair here. But, yeah, put it back down and maybe it'll move on. But Illinois is at Purdue. And Illinois is favored by 9.5 points. Purdue is garbage. After Braum left, they have went downhill in a dramatic fashion. Illinois is still embarrassed a bit by the Indiana loss, probably. But Illinois wins this game handily. 27-10. That's a 17-point victory for Illinois. That covers the 9.5-point spread, and I'm going to bet it. All right, at 3:30, we have 5 games here. Penn State, number 7, now, after that loss to Oregon at home, in the whiteout at night, is at UCLA, who is winless. Penn State is favored by 26.5 points. Drew Aller has not improved like I thought he would, and it's on the West Coast, so travel time and the letdown from that game last week. But UCLA sucks. I mean, they're terrible. Everybody left them. Penn State's going to roll. It's going to be 38-14. That's a 24-point differential. So I am not even going to bet this game. I'm staying away, but Penn State wins big. Number 9, Texas is at Florida. And Texas is favored by 6.5 points. Florida has had a daunting schedule, and they've lost all the big games so far. But this one is at home, and this one is versus kind of a struggling Arch Manning that has just had bad games. I think he has another bad game in the Swamp at 3:30, and Florida wins this game outright. Their defense is good enough to confuse the young Manning. Florida wins low scoring 20-17 at home. I'm betting it outright for Florida. All right, we have a ranked matchup here. Number 16, Vanderbilt is at number 10, Alabama. Number 10, Alabama is favored by 10.5 points. Ty Simpson is back. All right, the first game versus Florida State is not what it was. It was his first game on the road, hostile environment. He's better now. He's back on track, and Alabama wants revenge versus Vanderbilt from last year when they went in to the Commodore Stadium and lost. This one's at home for Alabama. Vanderbilt is 5-0 and still riding high with the Pavia at quarterback. Running and passing, he's doing it all. He's carrying that offense still. But Bama is just too much. They're going to shut him down somewhat. I have Alabama winning 34-20 in this game. That's a 14-point win, and Alabama's only favored by 10.5. I think Alabama covers the 10.5. That hook is a little scary, but hey, I'm not scared. Let's go. I need to make some bold predictions here. So that is a bet for me. Boise State at 3:30, as well as at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 19.5 points. Boise State has the better record than Notre Dame. 3-1 versus Notre Dame's 2-2. Of course, the schedules were different. Notre Dame is heavily favored, and they're still ranked at 2-2. Is this some kind of a projection by the AP poll where they think Notre Dame's just going to beat all these bad teams going forward? That's on their schedule. They do have USC coming to town later, but Notre Dame wins this game handily, 41-24. Now that's a 17-point difference. The line was 19.5. I'm staying away because Notre Dame could fall on their face too again. Boise State's not a bad team. All right. Anyway, the last 3:30 game. Number 24, Virginia. Yeah, they're ranked after that Florida State double overtime victory. They are at Louisville. Louisville is favored by 7.5 points. Virginia needs to collect themselves here after that jubilant win. and I don't think they will. Brom is a great coach. As I said, after he left Purdue, they fell in the hole. As soon as he got to Louisville, it started rolling, and they're still rolling. They are consistent. They're a consistent program. Virginia, I don't know if they are yet. So this is going to be a close game. I have Louisville winning 28-24. They will not cover the 7.5 point spread. I like the hook there on that one. I like Virginia plus 7.5 in this game, and I'll bet it. At 4 o'clock, Kent State travels to Norman to face number 5, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is favored by 45.5 points. And Oklahoma can name their score in this game versus Kent State, who is 1-3 now in this season. But will they take starters out? Will they try to avoid injuries? Will they put in backups and just coast to a victory where maybe they give up some late scores or they have a turnover on offense or something with backups? It's hard to say with a spread that wide, 45.5. I have to stay away from it. I have Oklahoma winning 45-10. That's only a 35-point victory. 45.5. I mean, they could. I could see them going Indiana on Kent State and 70-3 or 70-7 or something like that. I just don't know if they're going to. So I'm staying away from that game. Oklahoma rolls, though. At 7 o'clock, number 11, Texas Tech is at undefeated Houston. Texas Tech is favored by 10.5 points. Houston is undefeated and unranked. And they host a top 15 team at night. They are going to want this game so bad. It's in-state. Houston could beat Texas Tech in conference to springboard their season. But Texas Tech is too good. Texas Tech is too good. I saw what they did to Utah on the road. I mean, granted, most of it happened in the fourth quarter, but they wore them down. Can they cover the spread of 10.5 points? I have Texas Tech winning 27-20 in this game. It's going to be a touchdown game. So I have Houston covering. Give me Houston with plus 10.5, and I'll bet that game. All right. At 7:30, Minnesota is at number 1, Ohio State. And Ohio State is only favored by 23.5 points. Only because they have to get their offense going finally. And I think they will in this game finally. They are going to roll Minnesota at home at night. It's going to be an electric. Anyone that goes to that game for Ohio State is going to be loving it. They're going to see what they wanted to see all season. Ohio State wins 42-10. That is a 32-point win. I'm taking Ohio State minus 23.5 points, and I'm betting that game. Now, also, 2 more games at 7:30, which kind of sucks, All the big games are right there. That's why I like, the big noon, but, it's Wisconsin and Michigan. That's not exciting. Minnesota is at Ohio State. Miami, number 3, Miami, who everyone is higher on than I am, is at Florida State, number 18 in the country now after they lost to Virginia. Miami is favored by 4.5 points in this game. Is it an overreaction? Because where am I at here? The game. This is going to be the game of the week I have here in my notes, and it will let us know if Miami is for real. because they will have to have gone on the road to face a pissed off, hungry Florida State team that beat Alabama, shouldn't have lost to Virginia. They're going to want to bounce right back. And that's the other thing. Can Florida State bounce right back? After the 2-10 season last year, they started off 3-0 this year. Everything was great. The Castellanos, the quarterback, was running around and beating people. Can he do it versus Mario Cristobal and Miami's defense at home at night? Yes. Florida State is going to shock Miami in-state, and they're going to win 30-27, and I'm going to bet that game outright for Florida State because Miami is favored. All right, the last game. Mississippi State is at Texas A&M, the number 6 team in the nation, according to the AP poll. Texas A&M is favored by 14.5 points. Mississippi State has been somewhat of a great surprise this season. One of those horrible teams from last year, undefeated in the non-conference. Are they going to wilt now that the schedule gets tougher? They just lost their last game. Was it Auburn? Who was it that they lost to? And then now they have Texas A&M, the number 6 team, and it's on the road. Texas A&M is going to win this game, but I think it's going to be surprisingly close. I don't think Mississippi State is going to wilt all the way down and die. I think they're going to give Texas A&M a fight. I like the hook on the 14.5 points. I have 31-25. 25. How's that happen? Well, I think, in a special team scenario, Texas A&M gets maybe a block or taken back or something from Mississippi State, or they pin them deep, and Texas A&M gets a tackled in the end zone or a penalty in the end zone, and it's a safety. I think it could be a weird game at 7:30 at night. They're two really good teams. I think it's a 6-point game, 31-25. I'm taking Mississippi State and 14.5 points on the road. What do you guys think? Those are my picks. Do you like the change up? I'm hoping it works. It's got to, because like I said, I'm a little bit more out of touch now. But man, I love predicting and betting these games, and we'll see what happens. So there you go. Hopefully I can get back on track and win some money. Gamble responsibly. I do not actually bet these games. It's just for fun for me. So gamble responsibly and have a great night out there, everybody. If you like the video, like it. Subscribe if you want to. Hit the bell for notification. Hopefully I do more of these going forward. It's going to be in this variation if I do. So stay tuned. But there are always previews for Michigan football and reactions to Michigan football games. I just did a preview for Michigan basketball's season. Gave you the roster, the sizes, their production from last year, and the schedule. And then I went down each team that we play and gave you a win and a loss for each one and came up with a record. So go check that video out as well, and all the other videos. Just stay tuned. There's some more things going on now that sports are back. Michigan sports, that is, are back. The Lions, wow, great win. Let's go. Tigers, not so much. What a collapse. But yeah, hockey season's coming up, basketball. Lots going to be going on here, so make sure you hit that bell for notifications after you subscribe. Have a great day, everybody, and go blue.